Hello, family and friends, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Shauna, and thanks for being here on this super Saturday. It's the eve of Easter, and we've gathered here. Today's April 19th. So, without further ado, let's say our prayer and get our reading out the way for today. Lord, thank you for every single soul who can hear my voice. Thank you for all your wonderful blessings in our life. Thank you for Jesus' sacrifice, and we thank you for the Easter holiday. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, my friends, quick review from yesterday. So yesterday, Good Friday, of course. Here's my notes, sorry. 1 Samuel chapter 30. David's wives were captured. And so what we seen there was when David's wives were captured, the Amalekites came and just took, the wives, the cattle, the kids. They just desecrated, David's and little encampment. So much so that David's followers, the few men that were with him, turned against him and wanted to stone him. And one thing that I found poignant in that chapter is how it said in verse 6, but David strengthened himself in the Lord his God. When he did that, he went and fought them from twilight to evening the next day. And it said he brought back every single person. No one was lost, no livestock, not a kid, not a wife, not a nothing. Everything that they took from them, David went and took it back. So you go, David. But I love how he strengthened himself in the Lord before he did that. And he went, I just picture this frenzy of a man going to get revenge. And he tore them up by himself. All right, which probably led to those Psalms that he wrote. He probably leaned on some of those Psalms when it says he strengthened himself in the Lord. All right, then it took us to 1 Chronicles chapter 12, verse 20, David's great army. And so it just described how David is now starting to get this following of men who are standing behind him. And now he has a great army. So that's what that chapter or couple of verses describe, And then 1 Samuel 31, we saw the death of Saul and his 3 sons. And boy, was it a brutal death. So his 3 sons, Jonathan, Abinadab, and Malchi-Shua. And, we didn't hear that much from Abinadab and Malchi-Shua, but Jonathan was definitely a main character of his sons because Jonathan, loved David, and Jonathan protected David so much so that Saul tried to kill him. Remember, he came after him with his spear. And something that I just now got that connection or just find interesting, Saul killed himself, as we know from our reading yesterday. He laid on his own sword and killed himself. But that's what he was doing. He tried to spear David twice. He threw his spear at David before David fled, and then he tried to spear his own son Jonathan. Now, isn't that a trip how he speared himself in the end? He died in the end, laying himself on the sword. Wow, I just got that. All right, so not only did he kill himself, but his armor bearer, his chief armor bearer, killed himself afterwards, and all his men. So Saul, his sons, and all his men went down that day. And then it described later in the chapter the disgusting desecration of Saul's body. They cut off his head and put his head in the temple next to their god Dagon. And then they pinned his headless body to the wall in Beth Shean along with Jonathan and his 2 brothers. So picture, a headless Saul and his 3 sons pinned to the wall dead. Woo, vicious. So when the men heard about it, the men of Israel, they came and buried they took the bodies off the wall and buried the bodies in, they were valiant men of Jabesh Gilead. Yeah. Valiant men of Jabesh Gilead recovered Saul's body and his sons and buried their bones under an oak in Jabesh. And then they fasted for 7 days. So that was a very terrible and gruesome ending for Mr. Saul. So sad. All right, and then moving on, 2 Samuel, we started 2 Samuel yesterday, and we met Jonathan's son, Mephibosheth. So remember, Jonathan is dead. Jonathan loved David, right? And I didn't even realize, because up until now, when it just described Jonathan's son, I don't remember them ever saying that he was married or took a wife or anything like that. But anyway, he must have, because he has a son, Mephibosheth. And so we were introduced to him, which is Saul's grandson. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Most of you already know, but he was lame. Remember, he was a disabled boy. And so we'll see how David treats him. And then our last bit of reading was 2 Samuel, first chapter. David hears of Saul's death and laments. And so it was just so sad, it was a recounting of what happened. But David kills the messenger, and we saw that there's this Amalekite who came and told David the news of Saul and Jonathan and his brother's death. And so David questioned him. He was like, well, what happened? And he told him what happened. And he said that he killed Saul. I don't know if he really did that, but whatever, just speaking that he himself ended up getting killed, because David didn't appreciate that he didn't mind killing Saul, or making sure he was dead. So this Amalekite told David that he came upon Saul, and Saul was already on his sword, but he was still alive. And so he said that Saul said to him, kill me, finish me off, because he was in great agony. And so this Amalekite allegedly did that. But in our reading, we didn't read that. So that's interesting. I don't know if he really did that or not, but he got killed for saying that he did. All right, friends. And so that brings us to our reading today. According to our chronological Bible reading for April 19th, we're going to start in 2 Samuel, 2nd chapter. All right, here we go. David anointed the king of Judah. After this, David inquired of the Lord, shall I go up into any of the cities of Judah? And the Lord said to him, go up. David said, to which shall I go up? And he said, to Hebron. So David went up there, and his two wives also, Ahinoam of Jezreel, and Abigail, the widow of Nabal of Carmel. And David brought up his men who were with him, everyone with his household, and they lived in the towns of Hebron. And the men of Judah came, and there they anointed David king over the house of Judah. When they told David it was the men of Jabesh Gilead who buried Saul, David sent messengers to the men of Jabesh Gilead and said to them, may you be blessed by the Lord, because you showed this loyalty to Saul, our Lord, and buried him. Now may the Lord show steadfast love and faithfulness to you, and I will do good to you, because you have done this thing. Now therefore let your hands be strong and be valiant, for Saul your Lord is dead, and the house of Judah has anointed me king over them. Verse 8. But Abner, the son of Ner, commander of Saul's army, took Ishbosheth, the son of Saul, and brought him over to Mahanaim, and he made him king over Gilead, and the Ashurites, and Jezreel, and Ephraim, and Benjamin, and all Israel. Ishbosheth, Saul's son, was 40 years old when he began to reign over Israel, and he reigned 2 years. But the house of Judah followed David, and the time that David was king in Hebron over the house of Judah was 7 years and 6 months. Wow, so for a brief period of time, there's 2 kings really over Israel. So I didn't even realize Saul had a remaining son. So Saul has another son. And so Abner, the commander, going to say, David's not our king. Come over here. You're going to be the king over us and these folks over here, while David is the king of Judah. So we have already a conflict. Saul's dead. So the kingship came out of his family's favor, but not according to Abner. So here we go. The Battle of Gibeon. Of course there's going to be battles. There's 2 kings over the same territory. That can't work. 12. Abner the son of Ner and the servants of Ishboeth the son of Saul went out from Mahanaim to Gibeon, and Joab the son of Zeruiah and the servants of David went out and met them at the pool of Gibeon. And they sat down, the one on the one side of the pool and the other on the other side of the pool. And Abner said to Joab, "Let the young men arise and compete before us." And Joab said, "Let them arise." Then they arose and passed over by number, 12 for Benjamin and Ishboeth, the son of Saul, and 12 of the servants of David. And each caught his opponent by the head and thrust his sword in his opponent's side, so they fell down together. Therefore that place was called Helkath Hazarim, which is at Gibeon. 17. And the battle was very fierce that day, and Abner and the men of Israel were beaten before the servants of David. And the 3 sons of Zerah were there, Joab, Abishai, and Ashiel. Now Ashiel was as swift of foot as a wild gazelle. And Ashiel pursued Abner, and as he went, he turned neither to the right hand nor to the left from following Abner. Then Abner looked behind him and said, "Is it you, Ashiel?" And he answered, "It is I." Abner said to him, "Turn aside to your right hand or to your left, and seize one of the young men and take his spoil." But Ashiel would not turn aside from following him. And Abner said again to Ashiel, "Turn aside from following me. Why should I strike you to the ground? How then could I lift up my face to your brother Joab?" But he refused to turn aside. Therefore Abner struck him in the stomach with the butt of his spear, so that the spear came out at his back. And he fell there and died where he was. And all who came to the place where Ashiel had fallen and died stood still. But Joab and Abishai pursued Abner, and as the sun was going down, they came to the hill of Ammah, which lies before Giah, on the way to the wilderness of Gibeon. And the people of Benjamin gathered themselves together behind Abner and became one group and took their stand on top of a hill. Then Abner called to Joab, "Shall the sword devour forever? Do you not know that the end will be bitter? How long will it be before you tell your people to turn from the pursuit of their brothers?" And Joab said, "As God lives, if you had not spoken, surely the men would not have given up the pursuit of their brothers until the morning." So Joab blew the trumpet, and all the men stopped and pursued Israel no more, nor did they fight anymore. 29. And Abner and his men went all that night through the Arabah. They crossed the Jordan, and marching the whole morning they came to Mahanaim. Joab returned from the pursuit of Abner, and when he gathered all the people together, there were missing from David's servants 19 men besides Ashiel. But the servants of David had struck down of Benjamin 360 of Abner's men. And they took up Ashiel and buried him in the tomb of his father, which was at Bethlehem. And Joab and his men marched all night, and the day broke upon them at Hebron. Just fight after fight after fight. I won't review that now. We'll keep going. We got a lot of reading today. All right. It's taking us to 2 Samuel chapter 3, 1 through 4. There was a long war between the house of Saul and the house of David, and David grew stronger and stronger, while the house of Saul became weaker and weaker. And the sons were born to David at Hebron. His firstborn was Ammon of Ahimael of Jezreel, and his second child, Chileab of Abigail, the widow of Nabal of Carmel, and the third, Absalom, the son of Maacah, the daughter of Talmai, king of Geshur, and the fourth, Abdoni, the son of Haggith, and the fifth, Septiah, the son of Atbal, and the sixth, Ephraim of Eglah, David's wife. These were born to David in Hebron. Wow, so David is being fruitful and multiplying. I think I lost count. I don't know if that just described all his wives, or 6 different wives or women. I'm gonna have to look at that. I'm not gonna talk about it yet. Let's move on. All right, our next reading is 2 Samuel 23. These are the names of the mighty men whom David had: Josheb Bathabath, a Talmanite. He was chief of the 3. He wielded his spear against 800 whom he killed at one time. And next to him among the 3 mighty men was Eleazar, the son of Dodo, son of Ahoni. He was with David when they defiled the Philistines who were gathered there for battle, and the men of Israel withdrew. He rose and struck down the Philistines until his hand was weary and his hand clung to the sword. And the Lord brought out a great victory that day, and the men returned after him only to strip the slain. And next to him was Shammah, the son of Agi, the Harite. The Philistines gathered together at Lehi, where there was a plot of ground full of lentils, and the men fled from the Philistines. But he took his stand in the midst of the plot and defended it and struck down the Philistines. And the Lord worked a great victory. 13. And 3 of the 30 chief men went down and came about harvest time to David at the cave of Adullam, when the band of Philistines was encamped in the valley of Rephaim. David was then in the stronghold, and the garrison of the Philistines was with them at Bethlehem. And David said longingly, "Oh, that someone would give me water to drink from the well of Bethlehem that is by the gate." Then the 3 mighty men broke through the camp of the Philistines and drew water out of the well of Bethlehem that was by the gate, and carried and brought it to David. But he would not drink of it. He poured it out to the Lord and said, "Far be it from me, O Lord, that I should do this. Shall I drink the blood of the men who went at the risk of their lives?" Therefore he would not drink it. These things the 3 mighty men did. Okay, good for you. Now it's taking us to 1 Chronicles chapter 11, verse 10. Now these are the chiefs of David's mighty men who gave him strong support in his kingdom, together with all of Israel, to make him king according to the word of the Lord concerning Israel. This is the account of David's mighty men. Jashobeam, a Hakamite, was chief of the 3. He wielded his spear against 300 whom he killed at one time. And next to him among the 3 mighty men was Eleazar, the son of Dodo, the Ahohite. He was with David at Pasdammim when the Philistines were gathered there for battle. There was a plot of ground full of barley, and the men fled from the Philistines. But he took his stand in the midst of the plot and defended it and killed the Philistines. And the Lord saved them by a great victory. 15. 3 of the 30 chiefs men went down to the rock to David at the cave of Adullam when the army of the Philistines was encamped in the valley of Rephaim. David was then in the stronghold, and the garrison of the Philistines was then at Bethlehem. And David said longingly, "Oh, that someone would give me water to drink from the well of Bethlehem that is by the gate." Then the 3 mighty men broke through the camp of the Philistines and drew water out of the well of Bethlehem that was by the gate, and took it and brought it to David. But David would not drink. He poured it out to the Lord and said, "Far be it from me before my God that I should do this. Shall I drink the lifeblood of these men? For at the risk of their lives they brought it." Therefore he would not drink it. These things did the 3 mighty men. So that was kind of like a reread, right? But that was 1 Chronicles, and we read that in 2 Samuel. I don't question this lovely chronological Bible read. It's making us read in the order of events. Sometimes things are repeated. And a lot of times it's repeated for a very valuable reason. You just don't realize it at the time, at least for me. All right, now it's taking us to 2 Samuel chapter 23, verse 18. Now Abishai, the brother of Joab, the son of Zeruiah, was chief of the 30, and he wielded his spear against 300 men and killed them, and won a name besides the 3. He was the most renowned of the 30 and became their commander, but he did not attain to the 3. And but Benaiah, the son of Jehoiada, was valiant man of Kabizol, a doer of great deeds. He struck down 2 Ariels of Moab. He also went down and struck down a lion in a pit on a day when snow had fallen. And he struck down an Egyptian, a handsome man. The Egyptian had a spear in his hand, but Benaiah went down to him with a staff and snatched the spear out of the Egyptian's hand and killed him with his own spear. These things did Benaiah, the son of Jehoiada, and won a name besides the 3 mighty men. He was renowned among the 30, but he did not attain to the 3, and David set him over his bodyguard. It's like they're trying out for the best positions in David's army. 24. Ashiel, the brother of Joab, was one of the 30. Elhanan, the son of Dodo of Bethlehem, Shammah of Hared, Elika of Hared, Heliz the Palatite, Ira, the son of Ikish of Tekoa, Abiezer of Anoeth, Mabunai the Hushatite, Zalman the Ahohite, Maharai of Neophah, Helib the son of Badna of Nepoth, Ittai the son of Ribai of Gibeah of the people of Benjamin, 30. Benaiah of Pirathon, Hiddai of the brooks of Gaash, 31. Abiel, Alban the Arabite, Asma of Bahurim, Aliba the Shalbonite, the son of Jashin, Jonathan, Shammah the Harite, Ahiam the son of Shara the Harite, 34. Elet the son of Ashbai of Makkah, Eliam the son of Athophel of Gilnite, 35. Hezro of Carmel, Parai the Arbite, Igal the son of Nathan of Zobah, Bani the Gadite, 37. Zalik the Ammonite, Naharai of Beeroth, the armor bearer of Joab the son of Zeruiah, Ira the Irite, Gareb the Ithrite, Uriah the Hittite, 37 in all. Ooh, that's why I start putting the words up so you can have compassion on me. Ooh, but I'm trying my best. All right, here's our last read. Chronicles 11, verse 20. Now Abishai, the brother of Joab, was chief of the 30, and he wielded his spear against 300 men and killed them, and won a name besides the 3. He was the most renowned of the 30 and became their commander, but he did not attain to the 3. And Benaiah, the son of Jehoiada, was a valiant man of Kabizil, a doer of great deeds. He struck down 2 heroes of Moab. He also went down and struck down a lion in a pit on a day when the snow had fallen. And he struck down an Egyptian, a man of great stature, 5 cubits tall. The Egyptian had in his hand a spear like a weaver's beam, but Benaiah went down to him with a staff and snatched the spear out of the Egyptian's hand and killed him with his own spear. These things did Benaiah, the son of Jehoiada, and won a name besides the 3 mighty men. He was renowned among the 30, but he did not attain to the 3. And David set him over his bodyguard. 26. The mighty men were Ashiel, the brother of Joab, Elhanan, the son of Dodo of Bethlehem, Shemoth of Harod, Heliz of Pelionite, Ira, the son of Ikish of Tekoa, Abiezer of Anathoth, Sabekai, the Hushatite, Eliah, the Aholite, Maharai of Netopah, Helid, the son of Baana of Netopah, 31. Ittai, the son of Rabiah of Gibeah in the of the people of Benjamin, Benaiah of Pirathon, Hurai of the brooks of Gaash, Abiel the Arbathite, 33, Asmaveth of Bothram, Elahaba the Shalbanite, Heshem the Gizite, Jonathan the son of Shagi the Harite, Ahiam the son of Sakar the Harite, Eliphah the son of 36, Hefer the Mercatite, Aljah the Pelonite, Hurath of Carmel, Nari the son of Ezbah, 38, Joel the brother of Nathan, Mibhar the son of Hagri, Zelek the Ammonite, Nahari of Beroth, the armor bearer of Joab the son of Zeruah, 40, Ira the Ithrite, Garib the Ithrite, Uriah the Hittite, Zabad the son of Allah, 42, Adina the son of Shaziz, Shizai the Reubenite, a leader of the Reubenites, and 30 with him, Hannah the son of Makkah, and Josaphat the Mithite, Uzziah the Ashtarite, Shammah the Jeiel the son of Hotham the Ararite, 45, Jadiel the son of Shimri, and Joha his brother the Tizite, Iziel the Mavite, and Jeribai, and Joshavai the son of Elnam, and Ithma the Moabite, Eliel and Obed, and Jasiel the Mesobite. Yeah, I want some applause. I'm gonna pat myself on the back for that. Although when I try to type these in, it's gonna take me forever to edit it because I know they're not gonna be spelled right. Well, anyway, that was fun. Well, my friends, I definitely will not recap that right now due to time, and we'll talk about it tomorrow. Very quickly before we go, church announcements. Hey, Youngstown, Ohio. My friend Bobby in Seattle, happy birthday, Bobby. Even though you're a 49ers fan, because I am a career Seahawk fan. All right, my friends, that's all I have for today, this Easter Eve. Go and have a great rest of your day and come back tomorrow, Easter Day. All right, see you. Bye.